Hello, hello. I want to welcome all of you to another hour of some of the stuff that is hard to find anywhere else except here on this radio station and this radio show, the Universal Consciousness Show. And today we have two wonderful guests for you. One of them is me and the other one is Diana. We didn't have anybody else, so we figured we'll grab a subject and talk on it for a while. And we're going to do just that. So we try to entertain you here, and we try to educate you, open your mind, and stretch your mind a little bit. And my name is Aage, and I'm one of the hosts, and Diana is over in Germany. Hello, hello, Diana.
Hello, everyone. I'm here.
Yeah, there we are. Well, we're going to have some fun here. We're going to talk about something that I don't think we have covered on this show before, and that is meditation and astro travel and how to do it. And at the end of the show, we will do a little mind experiment so you get a little bit of a taste of what it would look like doing astro travel. Meditation is more commonly known and somewhat understood in at least some circles of society, but still not, it's still, for a lot of people, it's hard to do. They just can't empty their mind out and think about nothing. Well, even if you don't, you're still meditating. But astro travel is a concept that is not very well understood, and we will talk about that a little bit. So, gee, where do we go from here, Diana?
Well, I think for the beginning, we should. So, if you tell us what is meditation for you and how long did you do this and how did it all started?
Yeah, well, I have been, I joke about this. I say that I've been meditating since I was 3 inches tall. Well, not really, but I was probably about 19, I think, when there was a neighbor of mine. He's a young guy, about probably about, well, no, I think I was about 2021, but he came by the house one day and says, "Hey, we're going to go to town and we're going to go somewhere and meditate." And I figured, well, what's that? But I did go with him, and we went into, there was a meeting there. And my neighbor kid at the time, his name is Steinar Hopnes. And he's moved to Sweden now, so he's no longer a Norwegian. Gosh, I hate to see that. Good Norwegians leaving. But maybe that's a good thing too. We went to this meeting, and there was a good crowd there, probably 100 people in that meeting. And there was one instructor that was teaching transcendental meditation. And we went and sat down. And Steinar, evidently, he had been meditating before some. I had not at the time. And they were teaching us, talking a little bit about it, and basically all they told us was, I know there was a little more, but I'll summarize it, and that was that close your eyes and think about nothing, and whatever happens is good. All right, I closed my eyes and tried to think about nothing, and that didn't work. And like, that's an easy thing to do. No, it isn't. And they didn't tell us how to empty our mind out and think about nothing or anything. They just told us to do it. And I came out of there and I was wondering, what did I just do? Steinar, he explained a little more about what the mind can do at the time. I learned a lot from him. And I didn't start meditating right away, but he kept encouraging me and just do it. So I started doing it, and it grew from there for me. And I think that he is probably the one, Steinar is probably the one that put me on the path of mind development. Otherwise, I would have probably stayed in the arena of business and that area. He put me on the path. I'm quite sure of that. I may have run into someone later on that would have done the same thing, but I don't know how that would have worked. See, meditation is so important, and it is totally misunderstood by most people. And the reason, big reason for that is usually religious dogma. Because, you know, you hear born again Christians, they say, oh, we don't meditate because that's when Satan comes and talks to you. Well, no, he doesn't. There is no such thing. But meditation has been around for thousands of years. Not in the West, but in the East. And for those that is doing it in the East, it is a natural thing. And it has great benefits for the health and also your abilities, your mental abilities. In fact, some of the health benefits, it can be phenomenal. It can help you actually do away with mental disorders, and especially when it comes to schizophrenia and also skin psoriasis. Meditation, for some reason, has a great effect on skin disorders. And it can also control cholesterol. For some reason, if you do that, cholesterol is not necessarily picked up in the body as it otherwise would, especially if you concentrate on that. And it almost always reduces blood pressure for the ones that have too high blood pressure. And also it helps on heart disease, can give you heart exercise, and it can rest the heart, and it can also work the heart. And it can help with asthma and overcome addictions, and it can improve the immune system greatly. And it can also help us lose weight. And for some reason, losing weight through meditation is more effective for women than it is for men. I don't know why that would be, but it seems that way. That's what some of the research show.
Because they wish more.
They what now?
They wish more than the man.
Well,
The wish is stronger.
yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe they're
Yeah,
more good, they're better at it.
yeah.
I can see that. And it also helps, and this is medical research backing all of this up now in some of the higher institutions of learning here in the United States and over in London. It can help reduce or just even prevent Alzheimer's. And it improves the sharpness of the mind. And it also especially helps on spatial orientation. You get better at seeing things around you and orient yourself so you don't bump into things, or you can be sharper in your environment. And of course, it helps on memory. And it is a great anti-aging medicine. See, we have two ages. We have the chronological age, and then we have a physiological age. And what also the research has shown that, let's say for somebody that is 30 years old, they let's say they measure. This was done actually at a Harvard doctor that did an experiment like this, and he took somebody at age of 30. They measured his physiological age at the time, and he was 30. So then 6 years later, they measured it again, But during those 6 years, he had meditated. And they also then found that his physiological age had backed up 8 years. So he was 36 years in chronological age, but he had backed up in physiological age 8 years. So you see, let's move that forward for somebody is 70. If you start meditating, you're going to back up your age to maybe somewhere around 60, because you reduce the stress, which is a phenomenal culprit in making you age. So this is one of the things that the people that is not meditating, they don't know about these things. But if we do know about it, there shouldn't be really any reason why we would not want to do this. And I see pictures of Steinar over in Sweden. He's just about as old as I am, but he sure don't look it. He looked probably about 50, 55, 60 also. And he's not that old. I mean, he's older. He's older. So it helps. And the same thing with me. The rumor on the street from what people tell me, I don't look my age either. So a part of that is, of course, supplements that we're taking, both of us, and also meditation. So, and the reason that we are avoiding the stress so much in meditation is because once you sit in meditation, you also develop a whole lot more alpha brainwave activity. And that alpha brainwave activity is phenomenally beneficial for your health. In fact, it calms the cells, and it sends a vibration to the cells that in fact helps to lengthen the chromosomes, actually the telomeres at the end of the chromosomes. And you know, the telomeres at the end of the chromosomes is what makes you age and eventually die. Because when the chromosomes, every time the cell replicates itself or duplicates itself, it loses a little bit of the length of the telomeres at the end of the chromosomes that hold your genetic code together. When the telomeres get so short that they are no longer able to hold the ends of the chromosome together, the ends start fraying, and the cells are not able to replicate themselves, and you get stuck with old cells in the body, and you die eventually. So if you can keep the telomeres at the end of the chromosomes long, if you can keep them long, there is no reason why you should age or eventually die from old age at all. And there is a reason for this. I'm saying this because the Nobel Prize in 2009 was given to 3 doctors that they got the Nobel Prize for discovering an enzyme that reverses the aging process. And this is another way where you can slow down or stop the aging process. And I write very detailed about this in my book, Spiritual Science, Higher Conscious Thinking, and How to Access the Universal Consciousness. And in there, I explain what I do and how to do it, and how to stop the aging process, in fact, and maybe you should look at that. Same thing with meditation. It will slow down the aging process because they will slow down the shortening of the telomeres at the end of the chromosomes. So I know this got a little complicated, but it works that way. And for that, I want to thank Steinar Håpnes over in Sweden, because he put me on this path, and I'm so glad that he did. And now there are different types of meditation, and You can research this. Go to YouTube and put in meditation, and you'll find different methods. And just pick one that you try a few of them and see what you think, and pick one that works for you.
But Aage, you put a long list of good stuff happening while meditating and good effects. But could it be that are also bad, so any side effects? Because I heard people saying that while meditating, it could be possible that you open some doors to bad things, that some bad entities can come in your inner space. Is it true?
Well, there is one major side effect from meditation, and that is good health. I don't know if we should complain about that one, but what you meant about opening up the mind to negative entities
Mm-hmm.
coming in, there are some people that believes that. And then I'm going to take about 45 seconds to bring them something else to think about, and that is that science has found now that we live in a mind-created universe. And what we see around us is only a mind-created holographic projection created by the mind. And it is a very persistent and very solidly portrayed one. So if we believe that we are at risk, the mind can also create that risk. And that is why fear is one of the worst things we can have or be involved with when we go in meditation or astral travel. So what I do when I sit down and meditate, I am totally confident that everything will be good, and I surround myself with bright white light, kind of put myself in a bubble, and I've done that for so long. All I have to think about that bubble and bingo, it's right there. And if you starting out, just visualize yourself sitting inside of bright white light and nothing can bother you. If there are negative thought forms or spirit entities outside of you, they cannot handle, they do not like that light. It's the wrong vibration for them to match with. So now fear can be a little tricky. So we got to stay away from that. We got to feel confident, everything will be good, and concentrate on what we want to accomplish. And when we close the mind down inside of a bubble of white light, nothing really can hurt you, because there's nothing there to get hurt anyway. It's all mind.
And how do you relate the meditation with religion? What is the relationship between them?
Well, meditation, let me back that up a little bit. Religion, there are some religions that embrace meditation as a part of their spiritual growth. Christianity is not one of them. And what I've talked to Christians about this, and I'm going to turn the phone down. The Christians, they believe that, you can't do meditate because that's when Satan comes and visits. Now, Satan was created in 325 when they created the Bible. They needed a boogeyman to scare people, and they got one. So what I would say about religions is that they have misunderstood the whole thing, because even in the Bible, they talk about what we call meditation, and they encourage it. They calling it be still. They don't talk about you sitting still and not moving your legs and your arms or anything. No, they talk about the mind being still. So it works very well with religion if you understand the concept of meditation and also understand what we are and what the spiritual world is. Then they fit together like hand in glove. Would that make any sense?
Right. It's for me, yes, but I'm just asking this question because I know that many people are very skeptical about meditation
Yeah.
because of the religion underground. And do you think that there are any persons who should not meditate because of medical reasons?
I think that now I'm not a doctor, so I cannot give medical advice. But from what the research show is that meditation reduces stress, reduces blood, uh, somebody about high blood pressure, they lower the blood pressure for them. And you can also control conditions of diabetes, and there's a lot of things that is improved. I do not know of any condition that would prevent somebody to do meditation, but they should check with I don't know if you check with a doctor or not. They don't know anything about this. It's not in the medical journals that they read, so they would be dumber than a stump on it. Maybe talk to a naturopathic doctor or a chiropractor. They are still healthcare professionals. They will probably know more about this.
Right. But according to the neuroscience, we know already that it takes 21 days to create a habit. Does it mean that if we meditate daily 21 days, the meditation will become a habit?
Yeah, they say what they say about the 21 days is it takes a minimum of 21 days.
Yeah. Hmm.
So it could take more. It could take 40, 50 days to get a solid habit established. But I I have established habits in just a matter of a day. Once I realize that something is good, then I just go do it. But normally 21 days you can, if you do it something constantly for 21 days, you'll most likely have the habit of doing it, and you can once you see the value, that will encourage you people to do it.
And
And
how important is the breath technique during the meditation?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
How important is the breath technique during
Well,
the
I think
meditation?
it helps a lot starting it out, because oxygen flow from the lungs going into the blood is very important also. The more oxygen, the more the sharper the mind will become. So I would start out a meditation by anything from 5 to 10 deep breaths, and then you just go into the meditation. And I think that will help people to get where they are going. And
Mhm.
also, another thing is what happens is that once you go into meditation, it is much easier to connect to the universal consciousness where everything past, present, and future is. And you can connect with something that was in the past, that you can bring up the memory of it, or you can bring up the vision of it, or you can even connect with something that has not happened yet because it is bound to happen in the future.
Yes.
So this will bring you into a totally different arena. Even though you're sitting here in your physical self, your mind opens up a channel into from the conscious mind, which is in meditation very often just gone away, and the subconscious reaches into the superconscious mind, which hands it over to the universal mind. And there you have the Akashic records, you have the universal storehouse of creative energies, which is basically the same thing, just different sides of the coin. And then you can attach for things that you want to become part of your reality. And once you find a match out there, grab onto it and Tell yourself that I want that in my life, and then you start bringing it back. And this is extremely powerful for the ones that do it consistently. And I would very highly recommend that.
But
And
do
yeah,
you think that it is better to follow some rules to meditate, or it is better to drop all the rules when you meditate?
well, let's say if we really don't understand it very well, it sure would help to talk to somebody or learn from somebody that is doing it. What you will learn is their way of doing it, plus the concepts about it if they are a good teacher. So, yeah, I would say learn from somebody in the beginning, and then once you start getting out there and meditating on your own, you could also ask the question, show me what is best for me. And you will be led to the area of meditation which would work best for you. You'll start maybe looking at different avenues, you'll find one that works, and then stay with that. And also, remember, some people say, gosh, I can't empty my mind out. I must be a bad meditator. No, you are not. You still meditate even if you do not empty your mind out and have no unwanted thoughts coming in. You're still meditating. You are relaxing. You develop alpha brainwave patterns. And even though you have thoughts coming in, gosh, I forget, did I turn the coffee water off? Or, oh, I need to let the cat out. Stupid thoughts coming in like that. That's fine because they come through the mind and then they disappear. And that is okay because you're still relaxed, you are in that state of mind, and between each thought, you have emptiness. And during that emptiness, you are connecting with the universal consciousness. So you will get that channel. If you ask the universal consciousness, I wish for this to happen, and then put a mental image, emotion, gratitude for already having it, even though you don't, and then put love on top of this, the vibration of love, on top of that wish going into the universal consciousness, then you are affecting it. You are reaching around, trying to find a match for something out there, and then bring that back into your reality. And this is something that people should do every day. Every day. This practice is very important. And here's something that is very powerful. I know we're coming up to the bottom of the hour here, but there's something called the Maharishi effect. A couple of decades ago, there was a group that was meditating in Washington, D.C. to reduce crime in the city. And they talked to the police chief there, says, what we want, they told the police chief that we're going to do this. We're going to try to reduce the crime 20% over the next few weeks. And the police chief laughed at them and he says, yeah, the only thing that can reduce crime 20% in Washington is something like 2 feet of snow, because then people won't get out. Well, they went to work. They started meditating, and they did that from June 7 to July 30 in 1993. They started out with 800 people, and during the 7 weeks that followed, it increased to about, I think it was 4,000 people involved. And the crime dropped 23.3% in 7 weeks. It blew the police chief away. He didn't want to even comment on it. And when they quit, crime went back up again. I think that wasn't just because of the meditation. I think it was also because of the mastermind that they created in that meditative state. So let's think about this, and we'll go to break here, and we'll come back, and I'll have one more comment on this, and then we'll talk about astro travel and maybe how you can do that. So stay with us, and we'll go to break. We'll be back in 3 to 4 minutes.
There are days that the red pill is bitter in my stomach, but I can't get it back out. I think because I have to. I speak because I have no choice. I walk through this dark age we're in with open eyes. Listen to Open Eyes on latenightinthemidlands.com. And together, maybe we won't stumble and fall.
Data. The sensors can't penetrate the planet's ionosphere. There's too much interference. Can you find a way to scan for life forms?
I would be happy to, sir. I just love scanning for life forms. Life forms. You tiny little life forms. You precious little life forms. Where are you?
Even the ETs know this is the place to be. LNM Radio Network.
You can listen to the LNM Radio Network 24 hours a day, 7 days a week through the Paranormal Radio app. Available from lnmradionetwork.com or TalkStreamLive.com on both Android and Apple. Our call to listen line is open 24/7. Dial 701-719-9704 so you can listen on the go.
Ever wanted to be sure your robot slave was behaving? Is Echo getting out of control and meeting with Alexa when you're not around? You need RoboGrog. RoboGrog is the new product from Snooze You Lose, the company that also brought you the fine products of Flog a Horse and Calm You Down Now. RoboGrog will put your robotic minions to sleep, bringing their AI a sense of peace and comfort. It does this by sending bolts of electricity straight where the sun doesn't shine. Get RoboGrog today at any fine retailer and set yourself free from the devices that bind you.
You can't just throw someone into prison and silence their warning because you don't agree with them. You don't have to like my methods or what I stand for. Silencing me won't make the problem go away. It will just whittle away at the ability of people to be ready for the real threats. And when the worst happens, and it will, maybe you can take comfort in protecting the people from a dangerous radical who wanted to tell them the truth.
Tired of searching for great talk and great information? Look no more. LNM Radio Network, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Back home, there's a growing pro-Earth movement. Rumors of hate groups targeting aliens. And on all sides, the fanatics think that society has to be protected against anyone who's different. I'm starting to wonder if what we just saw is a preview of things to come.
I can't believe they'd be that foolish.
Santayana. Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
Hello, hello, and we are back with the Universal Consciousness Show, and we have been talking about meditation, and we will be talking about astro travel. And before the break, we were talking about the tail end of our presentation on meditation here, and I want to just comment on a couple of the advantages. There's some that I didn't get to mention. There's some great spiritual advantages. You have tremendous spiritual growth through it. And you can actually also tap into the Akashic records, and you'll get spiritual insights, and you can have downloads of information, universal information into your mind, both in full understanding of detail and concept. And I've had one of those, and I tell you, it is an experience, and you really should think about how can it happen for me. And you can also have visions, and you can hear things, but that comes from the universal mind, from nothing else. And for some people, this sounds pretty far-fetched, but you remember the saying, for the ones who has had the experience, no explanation is necessary. For the one who had not had the experience, no explanation is possible. So you can also get to the point where you have the experience and you will know. Another thing meditation will help you do is to open up the third eye. You become a lot more psychic, more insight. You'll have peace. You get stronger intuition. Good. See, I try to meditate for 20 minutes, but if I don't have the time to do that, 2 minutes, that's good enough. You close down the mind, and you try to exercise that channel into the universal mind for 2 minutes. That is enough to exercise the channel and get the practice. And I have this saying, you know, if you're too busy to meditate for 20 minutes, you need to meditate for an hour, because meditation is so important to us. Let's talk about astro travel.
But before we jump to the astro travel, I just wanted to tell you that Joe Dispenza released his last book in August that is called Becoming Supernatural. And he is, I already have it because I never miss something from him. And you have there guided meditation, all of from all kinds. And this kind of meditation is very, very new, researched by him with neuroscience knowledge, and it brought a lot of miraculous healing. So it does worth to buy this book better in audio format, so you can hear it and you can meditate with Joe Dispenza. And I think it's nothing better in the world than meditating with Joe Dispenza live. So just buy it.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know about that. This is
Yes,
something.
it was released now in August, so it's very new, the book.
Ah, okay. All right. That's good. Yeah, we got to look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, astro travel. We it is not very well understood at all, and is for the ones that think they know a little bit about it and haven't done it, chances are that we got a few things wrong, because we think very often on the basis of some form of religious dogma. And once you get out there, you're going to find out it's nothing like that. Astro travel has been proven to be a fact by many, quite a few scientific experiments where people was laying in a bed, they were leaving their body and going somewhere to see and remember a number that was written, which they had not seen before, and then going back to the body, and then waking up and telling the people that was controlling the experiment what the number was. And people were able to do this. So, and also, if you get good at meditation, you should be able to actually, if somebody was traveling outside of the body, you should be able to, at one point, get to be able to see them, even if you are not traveling outside of your body. And at the end of towards the end of the show here, we are going to do a mind experiment. So this is going to be an interesting one. It'll give you a little insight at what it would look like to be outside of your body. And you'll get the feeling of it. And this feeling you should hang on to and then practice it. And it can also do some good things for you. Once you start getting out, there's a whole world literally opening up for you to explore. You can go places far away. You can visit friends. You can observe. In fact, hey, you can have astral sex. How about that? Yeah, there's a lot of things that can be done out there. And of course, the question is a lot of times, well, where can we go? How far can we go? There really is no set rule for that or practice. You can go to our moon. You can have a look at it. You can go to another country. But I very much would caution you and also tell you that respect people's privacy. Because for people of lesser character, it becomes easy to drop in on them at times when they would not want you to drop in on them. So respect people's privacy, because that creates a baggage. Because your higher self knows that you violated somebody's privacy. And it will stay with you until, of course, you forgive yourself, and there's a spiritual process of getting rid of that baggage, like getting rid of karma. Now, quantum mechanics, they allow for this to happen because everything around you is thought energy. It is a holographic energy around you. So everything in the hologram, both in the physical and the lower astral worlds, where you go when you do astro travel. The lower astral worlds are where ghosts get trapped. And see, the consciousness creates the physical body. When the physical body quit working anymore, when you die, then the astral vehicle leaves the physical body. And then the astral vehicle is the only vehicle beyond, the rest of the bodies that travels. But the astral vehicle has no intelligence of its own. It operates from memory only. And when it operates from memory, it usually relies on the past, because the astral vehicle on its own, I have found, is a little difficult for it to tap into the future. You can pass through and get into the future while you are in physical embodiment easier than you can do it from just the astral vehicle. And everybody can do this. Absolutely everybody. If they just follow and just find the technique that works for them, and we'll talk a little bit about that, and keep repeating, and also develop a mindset for success while you're doing it. Once you understand what we are, We are physical, mental, astral, spiritual, and soul bodies. There's a difference between soul and spirit, by the way. In the astral world, most of what you see there is of astral substance. Let's put it this way. When you leave the body, you are still connected to the body. You are connected with they call it the silvery cord. And that silvery cord comes from, some people say that it comes from the back of the head, and some people say that it comes from the forehead, and some from the solar plexus. My experience is that it comes from the solar plexus. That is where I am connected to the physical body. And some people are better at this. I am not very good at it, because there are times when I cannot get out. I used to do a lot more of it before. Now I have not practiced for a while, so I am just kind of maybe a little rusty. But once I start practicing again, the body and the mind just kind of adapts to it again. So I'm going to do that, but I haven't been doing it lately. But this is something that everybody can do. So find your way of doing it. You can also check on this on YouTube, because there are some really good ones out there that will talk about this. And you can find one that works for you. There are several
I think
different...
it's also the Monroe Institute that is providing this, according to the experiences from Robert Monroe before he died, and his daughter now is continuing his work.
Yeah, in fact, the Monroe Institute is their teaching is fairly good on this. I haven't done it, but I hear people saying that it's pretty good at what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, and they have different methods for it. They call it, some of it, the rope method, the hammock method, and now several others. So just kind of listen to it and try a few of them, and try what feels more comfortable for you. What do you think? And a little while here, I'm going to show you what I do. And it is very important to visualize yourself outside of your body. And you create a vibration in the body that will separate the astral vehicle from the physical body. And don't be afraid. And if you are out there roaming around doing things and you get scared, for some reason you see things that induces fear in you, that can be a little tricky, because then you draw these entities that vibrate on that frequency. You draw them to you, or they actually will be more attracted to you. I'm not so sure you draw them, but they are attracted to you. And then when you have fear like that, it snaps you back in the body. And depends on how far away you are. If you are quite far away and you are slammed back into your body, that can hurt. Actually, you can hurt all over. I mean, anything from toes hurting all the way up to your hair hurting if you are slammed back into the body like that. So try to stay away, feel comfortable, surround yourself in a bubble of bright white light, and you should be just fine. No lower vibrations are attracted to the bright white light. And this is one of the things that it takes a little while to practice, but it's okay. You just keep doing it. Now, for me to get out, I got to set up a vibration in the body that will separate me from the physical body. And that I do by keep repeating, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I visualize myself outside of the body at the time. And I keep saying that and saying it, and I visualize myself inside this bright white light outside of my body and repeating, I love you, I love you, I love you. Now for me, that works. That in about a minute or so, that gets so strong in my body, in my mind, that I can feel the skin tingling. And when the skin starts tingling, that induces the vibration in the body that can help you separate the astral vehicle from the body. And it can take a little while to, some people catch on to it like ducks to water, but keep saying it, keep saying it. Some people will take a little longer. It took me quite a while. It took me at least 30 days of practicing every day to, get anywhere. But just stay with it, because the rewards are there for the ones that want to do it. And you will see the silvery cord. You will see that, how you're connected. Now, if you do not see a silvery cord, when you get out there and you don't see any silvery cord attaching yourself to your physical body laying there, then you are not traveling in the astral vehicle. You are doing something that mostly is called soul travel. And that
What's
is
the difference between?
Yeah, there's a difference. The astral vehicle is just that astral body that is traveling. And the astral body has no memory of or knowledge of its own. So it feeds information back to the physical brain, and that's how you have memories of what you see out there. The soul travel, that's your consciousness out there, and that has intelligence of its own, so it doesn't need to feed anything back to the body, so you will be able to remember and see and experience more. And we are, in fact, I'm going to start some meditation classes shortly, and also a class on astro travel if there is interest in it. And we will actually practice this, and we will see if the people in the class can get out and meet on the outside. That will be interesting. So anyway, let's do a little mind experiment for right now. Wherever you're sitting, try to relax. And if you're listening to this as a rerun or as an archived show on your phone, driving a car, flying airplanes, or working with equipment, shut the phone off, because you don't want to listen to this, because you're going to relax the body. You're not going to have the presence of mind that you would otherwise in order to take care of your work. So be careful. And for those of you that are sitting at home, just right now, sit where you are, be comfortable, hand in your lap, close your eyes, and cross your eyes a little bit so your mind goes dull. And then just listen to me. You see yourself, you're sitting there, visualize yourself sitting there in the chair, on the couch. You're sitting there. Now, visualize yourself while you're sitting in the chair, visualizing yourself standing up, taking 2 steps forward. And then turn around and look at yourself sitting in the chair. You can see yourself sitting in the chair. Look at your hair, look at your face, look at your hands in your lap. Visualize yourself sitting there. You can see how the shirt is buttoned. You see details in yourself sitting in the chair. Now, turn around again so your back is to yourself in the chair. Back up 2 steps and sit down back into yourself. so you can feel the body coming back up around you, surrounding you again. Now you're back in your body and everything is good, and just open your eyes and you're perfectly all right. Everything is good. Now there's a little more to this, but we'll get into that when we're starting the class on it. And of course, if you want to get in touch with me right now, just we're starting a mastermind group, and you can contact us by going to a website at broadcastteamalpha.com, or you can send us an email at broadcastteamalpha@gmail.com, and let us know if you want to be part of the mastermind group or the meditation or the Astro Travel class. And gosh, the show is done. We're down to the end. That went fast, Diana. Okay, well, we are down here to the end, so we will see you next week with the Universal Consciousness Show. And until then, take care of yourself.